And now, our feature presentation.
Hey everyone, welcome to our feature presentation. I am Neil and I'm here today with Phobe. Say hi, Phobe.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about Doug's first
And last.
movie.
I'm sorry. I ruined two intros because I kept saying and last in the middle of Neil talking.
That's
It was
okay.
funnier if you're there.
Yeah. So, I don't think either one of us are really fans of Doug or grew up with Doug or care about Doug.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think it was my idea to watch this movie.
Why did you want to watch this movie
I
at
don't
all?
I don't remember. I think I just remembered it existed and I was like, we should do a video on that.
Mm-hmm.
We did do a bit of
How?
research on Doug though beforehand. Yeah, we watched some episodes of the Nickelodeon show, and then right after that we watched some of the Disney Doug show, like after Disney bought Doug. And you know, I won't say the Disney ones are awful. Like everyone likes to say that the show was awful after Disney bought it, but to be honest, Doug was never that great to begin with.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those should probably be left where it stands kind of properties. It's just because it's such a simple. It's like because that's like the thing when you're making a television show for kids. I've noticed is you just get yourself a concept, right? You just get yourself like a high concept, like something super simple, like one of the kids an alien, make one of the kids he goes to school in like the Amazon, like it's just something you just do one thing different than everyone else, right? That way you don't use up too many good ideas and you can just keep making shows over and over again, right? All of them bland, all of them animated in Flash, all of them starring some white dude who has an annoying voice. Um, but Doug kind of didn't have even a gimmick. They just kind of were like, what if this kid, right? He has an imagination, and everyone was like, does it like come true, or is it like, does he write about it and like something happens? Like, no, he just has an imagination.
Well, I think
And then everyone just was silent, and they made the show somehow.
I think a lot of the appeal of Doug though came from the Nickelodeon show. Like it had an interesting art style. It had like that like a cappella music that was always playing in the back and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
I love that. I like that music because it reminds me of
Yeah.
Crash to Insanity. The only good thing from that game, by the way, was the music.
Well, Doug just has that overall like Nickelodeon vibe to it. But like I think it was after Disney bought it. Um, like like I said, I don't think the Disney show was like horrible, like everyone said, but it lost a lot of its charm because they kind of they made a lot of very unnecessary changes, like some tweaks in the design, and then like for some reason the cars, like in the original show, all their cars look like futuristic and they look awesome, but they just change
Mm-hmm.
everything to like normal and. It's
Yeah,
just a
now
blander
only the
version.
doors look futuristic.
Yeah, but the Disney Doug was always just like the blander version of Doug, and Doug was already pretty bland to be honest. So
It's almost a feat. It's almost like, wow, they managed to suck the soul out of something that barely had one to begin with. How do
yeah,
you do that?
they did it. Go
Um,
Disney.
but I guess we should also say that unlike some movies made by like straight to video movies like Doug, which we'll get into, but why that's actually not true. But like a lot of the straight to video movies, right? They're usually used as like a pilot, right, to test if there's interest in a like a TV show based around it, like Jimmy Neutron or Wonder Park, right? Where they make it and they're like, okay, let's see, we can probably make money because kids are stupid, they'll like this movie, right? But then like if the movie's does really well, then they're like, oh, okay, we'll make a show on this, right? I thought that's what Doug's first movie was. It's like Disney acquired Doug the property for some reason, and then they were like, okay, let's make a movie to like gauge reaction. But no, apparently this came after the show was canceled. So you would think, so why do you think that they decided, you know what movie we should make out of one of our properties? Let's make a Doug movie a couple years after it was canceled. How does that sound?
Yeah, there's a whole story to like them making why they chose to make a Doug movie above all things. But I feel like first we should probably like say what the plot of the movie is, and I have it written down right here in my notes so I don't forget.
Was the movie that bad that you had to write down the plot to remember it?
It was a very boring movie, but okay, so pretty much to sum it all up as basic as I can, it's almost Valentine's Day. Everyone's getting ready for this Valentine's dance. Some new guy shows up named Guy. Yes, that's his name. And Doug is jealous of him because Patty seems to like him. And then Doug and Skeeter find a swamp monster, or I guess a lake monster, that they name Herman Melville after the author of Moby Dick. And they have to hide the monster from the military, who is being led by Mr. Bluff, who is
no, it was like paramilitary.
Paramilitary?
It's because he like hired these guys, right?
I guess.
I thought that was the thing, was that these were all his goons, and like that none. It's because of the lake, which is another thing you'll get into, the lake being polluted.
Oh yeah, that was.
I'll let you finish. I just wanted to correct on the fact that it was more like paramilitary, like it was his goons. But anyways, you continued.
Mr. Buff, he's like the rich guy, like that one girl who's rich and purple. I don't know
BB.
her name. BB, yeah. He's her dad, and we kept saying he's like a plantation owner, like the way he talks and dresses and everything.
Like, sugar.
That's exactly how he comes off as.
Yeah, except although in this universe, since there's so many different skin colors other than like tan and like olive.
Oh, so I guess
like
he's
purple
not
and
a
green.
racist.
No, he's racist. He just hates like green people. That's his thing.
He hates blue people, like Skeeter.
Yeah, in this universe, there was a slave trade, but it was for a continent that doesn't exist in our world, and these are all green people.
I could see that. I'd believe anything you tell me, because even though... Okay, so Doug is like very grounded in reality when you watch the show, but for some reason in this movie, like, they do all this weird stuff that is very much not grounded in reality, but then the majority of the movie is.
Yeah, it still is. We're getting distracted. Sorry, you need to finish the synopsis. We got so much to talk about. This movie's just brimming with conversation starters.
I finished the synopsis. Basically,
really?
They have to save the lake monster, Herman Melville, from the evil rich guy who wants to kill him.
Yeah, evil plantation owner. What's his name? Mr. Candy? Or is it like Doc Candy? From
Django Unchained.
Yeah, what's I just know his name's Candy something.
Leonardo Ricciardo.
Okay, so we were talking about the fact that they keep like breaking reality only for like a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then also, the plot of the movie doesn't really make sense inside like the Doug universe, right? Like I understand, because that's the thing with these like TV straight to video movies based on cartoons, is that they need to up the stakes, right? But like you'd think they would do something like Hey Arnold, like they're gonna destroy the rec center, or they're gonna they're breaking down my house because of insurance, right? Not like we need to stop a paramilitary organization from finding our sea monster friend because the lake is so polluted it's become acidic, and also there's like multiple things that don't really line up with how reality works. Like fucking the boat wheel and the mayor's or the Bluffington's office, which that's just a joke, but like it's still like that's one of those things where it's like it doesn't make sense in the world of Doug.
Well, it is their last movie. Like, it's their last thing ever. They didn't get a TV show or anything after this. So I think they just went all out.
Do you think that the working title the whole time was Doug's last movie, and then they went, maybe we should change this? I don't know if that like sounds like good press.
Nah, it was probably just called. It was probably just called Doug's Movie or the Doug Movie, and then they thought about how much money they were gonna make off of it because Disney is so greedy back. Disney's always been greedy, especially
Yeah, that
today.
never changed.
But
I'm pretty sure Disney was greedy when it started. I don't think there was ever any actual. It was always about the business.
This was like the straight to video sequels that they were making. Mm-hmm. They were very much in on that. Speaking of which, what I was gonna say, the story behind this movie. Back in it was 1993, I believe. Nickelodeon was teamed up with 20th Century Fox, and they had 3 movies they were gonna make. They were gonna make a Rugrats movie, a Ren and Stimpy movie, which sadly never happened. And
oh, I didn't know that.
yes, and they were gonna do a Doug movie. But eventually what happened is they waited too long to make those movies, so the deal kind of fell through. And then at some point, Disney bought the rights to the Doug TV show and made their own TV show. And eventually Nickelodeon made the Rugrats movie with Paramount. Mm-hmm. And what happened was the Doug's first movie was actually, when it was made, it was advertised on TV as being a direct-to-video film, straight to VHS.
Oh, yeah.
But they saw how successful Rugrats did, and they just rushed that to theaters. They did not care. They saw an opportunity to make money, and they took it. So, this movie is, TV quality.
Mm-hmm.
Rugrats movie isn't some masterpiece, but it at least upped the animation and stuff from the TV show.
They added shading. Let's just say that.
And it feels like I'd rather watch an episode because episodes of the show are short and to the point. This is a stretched out episode, so it's just very boring.
I liked thinking of it as what's it called? It's like when you chew gum. What I would do as a kid is I had gum, and I didn't have a lot of money. Obviously, I didn't make a lot of money. So if I had gum, I'd make it last, right? But that was a really bad idea because after you chew gum for more than I'd say half an hour to maybe an hour, it has literally no flavor anymore. Yeah. It just tastes like you're eating pulp, and that's what this movie felt like. It felt like I had gotten a pack of gum, except from the very beginning it was pulp flavored, and I just kept chewing it because I'm an idiot.
That's true.
I
remember I used to
am
swallow
an idiot for
gum.
watching this movie.
Back when I ate gum as a kid, I would swallow it.
Why did you hear that it gets stuck in your intestines for 8 years, and you're like, I gotta try this?
I didn't hear that till I was older.
Were you horrified?
Well, I just assumed it was not true because I've never had any big intestinal digestion problems that is probably due to gums, and I've swallowed a lot of gum in my lifetime, so.
Do you think? Did you think that when you swallowed it, it would get stuck on? Okay, this is a bit gross. It gets stuck.
I don't care. Say what you want.
It'll get stuck on your butthole when you're taking a poop, and then it would blow a huge bubble.
No.
It's like Rugrats when they were doing a lot of gross-out comedy. It's like Rugrats Go to Paris. And they eat
that was in
the goo.
Rugrats seasons.
Yes, Rugrats Go to Paris. They eat goo. Don't you want to eat goo and slime? That's what eating gum is like.
If it's good slime. You know what's good? You know those those Oreo crumbles with the gummy worms in them?
Is that a thing? That sounds kind of gross, though.
No, it's not gross. It's Oreos and pudding and gummy worms.
So it's supposed to simulate dirt.
Yeah, it's
That's what
supposed to
I
look
imagine.
like dirt, but it tastes like Oreo.
I'm glad someone in the marketing department was like, "What if we just get people to eat dirt?"
It's very good.
Is that what he said? Was he shoveling handfuls of dirt into his mouth? He's like, "It's really good."
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "Well, if he's eating that, so we can market it to children."
They can market
I
anything to children, like Doug's first movie.
back to it. No, I wanted to do a quick thing because I just want to say that my sister used to eat sand when she was a baby.
Ugh.
That was a lot of fun for my parents. They got to change those diapers.
I don't like that.
Yeah, just get that everywhere.
You
That's
think
yeah.
Doug eats sand? Of
When he
any,
was a baby, yeah.
of all the characters in Doug's first movie, which one most likely eats sand?
Patty Mayonnaise
Patty.
because she has the same personality as a pile of sand.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say as your sister.
My sister has more personality than a pile of
Patty
sand.
Mayonnaise is. She's always just been used as a plot device. I've
If,
noticed.
if that's effectively every conversation she has, she goes, "I'm reacting to this."
She was pretty nice in like the Nickelodeon show, but then in the Disney show, she's always like arguing with Doug constantly, and you're just kind of like, why are they even trying to be a couple? Like
Well,
they
I
don't
mean,
have chemistry other than they just fight all the time.
Doug also seems like a bit of an asshole. Like
Yeah,
he's mad at her very easily. And I mean, I get because it's like he's a kid, right? And they're all kids, so it's just like this is how he deals with his problems. But it's just like nobody wants to watch someone be an
what
asshole.
what did Patty Mayonnaise say? It was like what a pair of liars.
Oh yeah, she was really
That-
mean about it
she
too. He
was
like,
so
"What
angry.
a pair of liars!" And then Guy is like, "That's right. Now kiss me."
Yeah.
And then they didn't kiss
What
because you
happened
can't
to
show that in
Guy?
this movie.
Did he like fall in
Uh,
the mud or something at the end? Because that's what
that
happens
usually
in these things.
happens at the end of these kind of movies
Well,
where
Doug
like
fell
the
in the mud
bad
already, so.
the bug, it's like the bully or whatever, goes like, "No, no, no, no,
Or no,
no,"
or
and
they
then they
fall
get
in a
like
swimming
mud on
pool.
them. Oh, that's right.
They
They
always
have to
do
do that
that,
too. It's because that's the easiest way to give them comeuppance.
I
Um.
guess.
Oh, that reminds me. So okay, there's this joke in the movie where it's like a group of nerds build a robot. Okay, so at the beginning of the movie, Roger, his like Doug's bully, sees the monster as well. So there's this whole B plot that literally goes nowhere at all. Um, about how it's literally just to service like the last like 10 minutes of the movie. But they set it up all the way at the beginning, and then Roger's gone from the movie. But what happens is these nerds build a robot for him because he's afraid of the monster, and somehow they want to help him, right? For some reason, so they build him this robot, but turns out it's like way tinier than he wanted it to be. By the way, that's when they shrink him with a shrink ray. Like, I guess I can believe in a cartoon where like these nerds built like a robot for him, but then they also built like a shrink ray, and
Yeah.
they shrink him for no reason, and then make him, and then he just comes back to normal. They don't explain how. He's just back to normal.
They made a growth
But then,
ray,
or something.
which they could have just used
Um,
on the robot to make it bigger like you wanted, but okay.
but anyways, so that robot is for no reason, literally for no reason. I should stress this. When I say for no reason, I mean for no reason. There is no logic behind any of the decisions that are being made here. The robot is like a nanny and like babies Roger all the time. Like it's like puts bows all over his room and like puts him in his pajamas and like coddles him to bed and sings him lullabies and stuff, and he's like, "Oh man, right? I don't want to get treated like a baby." And then the robot gets like horribly beat up, and then it's like played as a joke that the robot is like in pain and is still trying to help Roger,
Yeah.
and
It
there's just a point where it's like crawling on the ground and it's like, "Roger, I need you to wear a sweater." And it's just crawling on the ground in pain.
I
And
think
then he's like, "Oh, gotta go."
it's like the last joke in the movie too. Like that's
It's
how
just such a
they
sour note to
I
go out on.
know. It's so
I,
weird. Like
I'm
that
making
someone
this
thought
sound.
that was funny.
I'm making this sound way funnier than it really is. It is not funny. Like you
It is
watch it,
depressing.
you just kind of wince. It's like you cringe a little bit because you look at it and you're like, oh, like the robot's just in pain. That's the joke.
And
There's
then
nothing else to
and
it.
then Doug goes, haha, Patty, you want to dance with me? And then they dance, and then Skeeter gets BB,
Yeah, BB
I
forces him
guess.
into a relationship
Yeah,
against his
that was
will,
a thing. I don't know.
and it's played for laughs. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Um, which is weird that she had to force him into that because before that he wanted to be with her, so it was weird that that was even a thing. It seems like the movie consistently forgets its own logic.
That's
Uh,
true.
but yeah, the movie really does drag on because it just doesn't really feel like it. It feels like because usually in a movie they have point A and point B and everything's in service to get to point B, right? But in this, it feels like it's like point A to like point Z. So like everything is these really small conflicts and resolutions that just like resolve themselves in a couple minutes where it's point A then point B, then point B then point C, then point C then point D, and it just keeps going like that and it doesn't really feel like anything is happening. It
Mm-hmm.
just kind of feels like, oh, okay, so this seems like a good place to end. Oh, okay, it's not going to end, right? Oh, this seems like they should make this decision, right? Oh, no, they don't. Why is this movie still going? It's hard to describe how boring Doug's first movie is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to make the excuse like, oh, it's for kids, so it's fine. But I think like when your movie made for kids is incredibly boring, you did something wrong.
There is okay, so I feel like I have a general understanding of what kids enjoy being a kid at one point. And there are times where I watch a movie and I think to myself, uh, like I don't like this movie, but like if I was a kid, I would love this movie, right? They
Yeah.
made like a fart joke, like this thing has just a pace that won't quit, right? It just doesn't ever stop with the jokes, even if they're not funny to me. It's like kids will love this, right? Because kids are stupid.
Yeah,
They
I
are
can see how kids like Minions or whatever. Like
like
I don't
I,
like it, but it's like yeah, kids would like this. I could
they
see
grow
that.
they grow out of it. That's the point of being a kid is that you're supposed to be stupid. If you were smart, then you're not a kid, right? You're
Mhm.
an adult. Um, well, generally speaking, I mean that doesn't apply to everybody. But it's that's the point of being a kid, right? You're stupid, so you don't know what's good and what's not. And when I say something is like good children's entertainment, I mean that they can enjoy it as a kid, but also as an adult, right? They'll come back to it with nostalgia and be like, "This is worth showing my kids," right? There are children's movies that are bad children's entertainment where a kid will watch them laugh, come back to it when they're older and go, "This is terrible. I don't want to ever watch this again." Like whatever nostalgia they had just dissipates, right? I guarantee there's going to be kids who grew up on the Minions movie that are then going to grow like just literally like 5 maybe 10 years, no, not even, they're going to watch it again and go, this isn't very good, right? And then they're not going to ever watch it again. You just lost your long-term customer,
Yeah.
right? You could have made the Iron Giant, which people pass down to their kids. It's so good, right? I'm going to show my kids if I ever have
Yeah,
any.
but the Iron Giant didn't make money.
That's
Minions
true.
did.
That's true.
So
Anyway,
your opinion is wrong.
um, but anyways, I guess the point I'm making is that Doug is 100% not good children's entertainment. 'Cause I don't see anyone showing it to their kids later in
The
life.
show is fine. I show
The
the like
movie is
Nickelodeon show to my kid, but not
a
yeah,
huge
not the movie.
distinction. Movie is not good children's entertainment because it is boring. It has a very slow pace. It has very few jokes, right? It's all plot, and the plot isn't fun, right? Like,
Mhm.
so I'm not gonna show this to my kids. And if my kids did watch it, I don't think this would be on any other top 10 list. Because as I say, kids are stupid, but kids still have an understanding of how movies work. So if you make a boring movie that is just boring, like all around, like it has very little jokes, it's very plot heavy, right? Kids just won't like it. They won't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But, so by the way, how good did Doug's first movie do? I want to know. Do you have the
How much
metrics?
money did it make, or
Yeah, how much
how?
money did it make back?
Well, I'm just gonna say critically, I know most people didn't like it.
Yeah.
Um, but as far as money, I think it made like 4 times its budget because it cost, I think it was either 4 or 5 million to make, and then made
It was
back like 20 million.
Okay.
So.
Then it did do better than.
Well, it did
It
good
was
because it
successful.
was such a cheap product that they just threw out in theaters.
That's true. That's like, yeah. That's like saying that you made like a bunch of millions of dollars when like you're selling food, but turns out your food was made out of like it's like made out of sugar and cyanide or something. It's just like a bunch of people bought it and liked it, but
Hmm.
like they're not around anymore. They don't like it anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
So it just, yeah, it was nice. It was apparently cyanide is cheap. Anyways, my analogy doesn't work. I
That's
maybe I should have
okay.
said like sugar and styrofoam, right? It's like packing peanuts you filled with like artificial flavoring. It's like, yeah, it made a lot of money because nobody knew what it was, and it was so cheap to produce that the minimal amount of people that bought it you got your return on investment back.
Yeah.
Right?
This all, like the whole thing where Disney was releasing like very cheap um, movies based on their cartoons to theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Like this killed Disney animation for a while. Movies like Doug's first movie.
I mean, as it should.
Yeah. And then they got kind of back on track, and now they're doing animated movies again. But
I I did like the I think this I don't know why I laughed at this joke, but I did like the joke where the robot is talking to Roger and it goes, "Let's get you out of that hideous attire and get you into something more sensible," and then it pulls out Doug's exact outfit.
yeah, well, I thought that was like I was thinking too to myself, like that looks. I just realized Doug and Wallace from Wallace Gromit wear the same outfit.
Whoa! It's the Wallace and Gromit cinematic universe.
Wow.
Um, what was I gonna say? I can't remember. You can cut this out.
Okay.
Well, what? Anything else you gotta talk about?
Um, Not really. I think I kind of talked about everything I wanted to for
Oh,
the Doug movie.
I want to talk
Oh,
about
do
how
you have
much I
something?
hate Porkchop.
Why do you hate Porkchop so
I hate
much?
Porkchop's design. I think he's gross and weird. If I had a dog that was like
Come
Porkchop, I would disown
on.
them. I would
How can you
euthanize them.
hate Porkchop?
Unless, of course, they were sentient like Porkchop is. Then I would, obviously feel bad about it. No, I hate Porkchop's design because he has human hands. He walks on 2 feet, flat human teeth, and he has like an annoying voice, which is just a person going bark, bark, bark. But he's like spindly, and his head's a huge bean. And his name's Porkchop. When I think of, as I said, when I think of Porkchop, I think of the food Porkchop, and I like pork chops. But then that gives me the idea that if I were to poke Porkchop the dog with a fork, there'd be holes in him, right?
Oh,
And he'd be like mushy and gooey, and I could like a real slab of meat. I could like mold him, right? Like I could squeeze him, and juice will come out, right? Like I
remember
don't
that?
like that as a thought.
Remember that Christmas episode where they almost put down Porkchop?
Oh, that's right. Even though he walks on 2 legs, he can use his arms and has opposable thumbs, and he effectively can understand English perfectly,
It was the
right?
best Christmas episode of all time.
They should have put that dog down.
Oh, well, I think I've pretty much said all my thoughts on Doug's first movie.
Yeah, and I expressed my hatred towards Porkchop, which is all I needed to do.
That's all you need to do. Yeah, it's a movie that's not really made for anyone. I think people could be nostalgic for this movie, but I'm sure if they went back to watch it, they'd be like, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah,
So,
as I said, it's just as all the nostalgia dissipates, and you just lost your extended audience.
yeah, Doug's first movie, and thank God it's Doug's last movie.